Hi, Diamond. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. So the last time you and I talked, you had mentioned to me that your daughter has some fears associated with bedtime.
Yes.
And so will you tell me a little bit more about that?
Sure. So when we try to go to bed at night, normal behavior, she wants to get a drink, she, wants to go to the bathroom, so we do all of that before we get settled for bed. And then she's afraid that there is a monster either under her bed or in her closet. And she can't go to sleep. She just works herself up. She's so afraid something's going to get her that she ends up crying most of the night or in my bed in the middle of the night because she just is too afraid to stay in her own room.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would say that's normal for children to have a fear associated with bedtime and not wanting to go to bed. And what are some things that you have done with her already to help support her through that?
So I have her look under the bed and make sure there's nothing in there. We have left the closet doors open so she can see there's nothing behind the doors.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, I just tell her, there's nothing to be afraid of, just kind of reassure her. But that's pretty much it. None of it has really worked.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're right on track on ways to help support her. I want to show you this. This is one of our Triple P tip sheets, and this one is specifically on fears. So not necessarily specifically on bedtime fears, but fears in general. And I'll just walk you through what this tip sheet looks like because as we work together, we can introduce additional tip sheets for different topics, but they'll all kind of be set up the same way.
Okay.
So this does talk about what is a fear, and so it will kind of define what we're talking about. And then here's some common childhood fears. So is there some things in that list that look familiar to you that you've experienced or your child's experienced and you've helped them through that as a parent?
Yeah, so she used to be afraid of dogs, but she's gotten over that for the most part.
Awesome. All right. So then it just goes on and talks about why children have fears. And I think it's really important to have empathy with your child. It's a normal thing for them to have fears. Adults have fears. And so really it's what we do to help her work through that, which is what the rest of the tip sheet goes into, which I really, really like and think will be helpful to you. You have done some of the suggestions already to help her through this fear at bedtime, but there might be some good ideas or strategies that you can use. And so it just talks about how to manage fear. So have a discussion with her. Talk to her about it. Try to normalize it with her. It says set a good example. And on the back here, it discusses even more. So if I can give you just a little bit of time to scan through these, is there a couple that you maybe haven't thought of or that you want to focus on and that we could put it on your parenting plan on that you could work on in between this visit and our next visit?
Sure.
Is there one that sticks out to you?
Yeah, so I think coping strategies and maybe even remaining calm. So I get frustrated. It's bedtime. I just want her to go to bed. I'm ready to go to bed soon. I have things to do while she's sleeping before I can go to bed. And so probably remaining calm. I think I probably get a little more frustrated than I should.
Yeah.
And don't really kind of acknowledge the fear. I'm just like, you're fine.
Mm-hmm. And that's easy to do as a parent because you probably have a list of things that you want to do once she gets to bed if she would only just go to bed.
Right.
Okay. So do you want to go ahead and put that one down here on your parenting plan? We can start with remain calm when your child is scared.
Okay. Okay.
And then you talked about coping strategies.
Yeah.
And so on here, it specifically talks about breathing, relaxation, imagination, and self-talk. Have you tried any of those in the past with her?
No, not really. No.
Okay. So I think it might be a little overwhelming to start and tackle all four of those. Is there one that you would want to focus on that you think you could do a really good job supporting your daughter through?
I think breathing would be good, not just for her, but for me too, if I'm feeling worked up about it. Maybe if we're both breathing together, we both kind of calm down.
Yeah. So that actually breathing might be able to help you remain calm.
Yeah.
When your child's scared.
Yeah.
So if
absolutely.
you guys are doing it together. Okay. Yeah. And so what are some steps that you're going to put in place to make sure that you focus on those two things? What's something that you can do or add to your bedtime routine to help with those?
So maybe reading a book before bed, kind of helping us spend some time together in this space and relaxing together. Mm-hmm. Maybe books about monsters and how they're not real.
Okay, yeah.
I think we have some of those.
Okay, so would that fit under the remaining calm or coping strategies?
Probably the remaining calm. It's probably just as much for me to help stay calm and get in that calm mindset before we move in. So reading a book. Okay.
All right. And then what is something that you're going to add to your routine that will help you incorporate breathing strategies? Where do you see that fitting in? Because let me ask you, do you want to do breathing strategies when she's already upset that there are monsters, or use it as preventative?
Maybe somewhere in between those. So, or maybe more preventative. So before we really kind of turn out the lights and so maybe a few deep breaths then to relax, and then right before the lights go out.
Okay.
So breathing when the lights go out, or before the lights go out.
Okay. Okay. So these are two things that you're adding to your bedtime routine. Mm-hmm. Well, were you reading to her before?
We didn't necessarily read at bedtime. Sometimes we would read before bedtime.
Okay.
Like I said, bedtime's been kind of a hassle, and so not necessarily reading at bed.
Okay, so this might be a lot to add both in, but let me ask you, what's your goal in terms of using these two strategies? Are you going to want to try to use both of them for 7 nights a week, or do you want to try to tackle one, and then once you have transitioned that into your routine, do you want to then add the other one?
I think I want to start reading first for the first couple of nights, and then try adding the breathing in.
Okay.
So maybe reading just for 3 or 4 nights, and then adding the breathing in the next couple of nights.
Okay.
So it's not all at once.
So your goal is you're going to stagger the change in routines, yes. But then by the time we meet again, you will have added both of them into your routine.
Yes.
Okay.
So I put the days up here?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, so tomorrow is Wednesday, so I'll start Wednesday with the breathing.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay. All right. And so do you have any questions about the tip sheet, or do you understand the information on it and how it, the explanation of, children having fears and the reasons for them, and then understanding the strategies?
Yeah, I think so. I think it explains them pretty well.
Okay. Do you have any questions for me?
I do not.
All right, thanks, Diamond.
You're welcome. Okay, thanks, Amanda. So tell me what went well.
I think I explained the tip sheet well and introduced it decently well.
Okay.
And gave her the opportunity gave you the opportunity to pick your strategies that you wanted, and then just kind of rolled with them.
Anything you would change?
I think my ending was a little awkward.
Okay. Is there anything you would do to try to make that less awkward or more smooth?
I think that might just come with confidence of being like, okay, we've introduced the tip sheet, and just with my own confidence of making sure I'm providing the right information.
Sure. Anything else you would have changed?
Probably would have scheduled our next visit with her.
How do you think that would have made the ending feel?
There would have been a little bit more closure there.
Okay.
And then I guess I could have had her role play with me a little bit. Like, if I gave her the opportunity to talk to me as her child about fears,
Okay.
and how what that conversation would look like with using the new strategies.
Okay. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay. Thank you.